Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? Long day at work. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. And if you get anything from my work, a connected dot, an epiphany, a mind explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore, please consider supporting my work. All the links are at the bottom of the description. It helps keep the lights on and keeps me fed because eating once a day, not by choice. And if you like skulls with gems inside, pyramids, hearts, more pyramids and artwork, please check out my website, AllyKatzkreations211.com. I also do commissioned pencil drawings, hyper realistic, meaning they look kind of like what you're giving me the picture to draw. Once I get a little bit more done on the drawing, I will show it. And if you're interested, please email me because I do everything privately. Hi. Quantum AI and Metaphysical Ponderings. Give me a second. Sorry about that, guys. Kitties. Love them. But sometimes they like to fight each other. Father and daughter, whipping butt. Anywho. Quantum AI Metaphysical Ponderings. Why am I smiling? And I'm exhausted because this needs to get out. I was at JQ and Dina's house on Monday, Labor Day, hanging out, and we get a phone call. Dina got a phone call, and as soon as the person on the phone, they called for something utterly different. They needed some assistance, and they thus spoke physicist. My smile went from ear to ear, and got to talking, and very exciting stuff. I mean, that's my wheelhouse. Love it. I conceptualize physics. I can't do the math, but I asked a bunch of questions, and basically what I'm telling you guys is accurate. Validation after validation. It was like divinity in explosion mode in my presence. Just, hey, you're on the right track. You know what you're speaking about. And we're going to have somebody who does the mathematics and has written and is published a shit ton and is an old person whose career is extensive. So it's not somebody that's just a grad student or a postdoc physicist. No, this person's been in it to win a chicken dinner for ages, with very important laboratories and studies and all kinds of stuff, validating a lot that I had to say, and that they're going to look into a lot of the things that I mentioned. Holy shit. This makes me happy. Like that's mind-blowing to know that somebody who's never studied physics but understands it is telling you guys the right stuff when I'm reading these articles. Mind blown. So I haven't done one of these in a while, and it's been interesting at work. I'm exhausted, as we could see it in my face. I'm sure I could see it in my eyes. But I love what I do, and I wouldn't change it. It's just the pay is shit. Like, I need a second job. And like I put it out there, I'm gonna put it out here. If anybody knows of, I'm gonna try before I have to go back out into the world again, like after 8 hours of dealing with children with autism, that I have to toilet, and I just disheveled at the end of the day. And then having to go to another avenue, another store, another whatever situation might not be my best interests. I'm trying to like take a load off and not put too much more on. But I'm looking to do some part-time remote work. So if anybody, and hey, I'm going to say this and put it out here. I cannot get an Ethernet cord. I already tried that bullshit in New York. All these companies that you see that you need specific equipment and certain stuff. And I am not going to sit on the phone. I already project my voice all day. But if anybody has any ideas on remote work, please let me know. So the first article is from Quantum Insider. USC protocol pushes qubit sensitivity beyond Ramsey limits. New method for quantum sensing. And this is by Sierra Choakar. I'm not saying that right, but this was published September 2nd, 2024. I'm probably going to just read a little bit of this, but I put this in because of everybody's looking for the quantum computers, the quantum this, the quantum that. And many of you know my opinions on quantum computing and all this nonsense, but it doesn't hurt to say it again. It depends on the avenue in which people are making these quantum discoveries. If it's for the light, beautiful, great. If it's for AI and serving thus of things that are of the negative polarity, I'm not for. As much as we can use all this technology and the technology can be used for positive, we also have to take the side of what is it going to be done for the negative. Polarity and duality are not leaving this paradigm because it exists also in 4D, time, space. So it's the ending of both paradigms and duality, but we are just on a new epoch of a new density and a new dimensional space. We're starting midway. So we have to take the good with the bad, but we also have to have both angles and go into neutrality to see both sides and how it's going to be used and to push things to the positive. Insider brief. USC researchers developed a method using deterministic qubit control to stabilize qubit coherence, improving the sensitivity of quantum sensors beyond the traditional Ramsey. I'm still coughing. I do apologize. Interferometry, totally butchering that, limits. The new protocol increases the signal to noise ratio, SNR, and can be integrated into existing quantum platforms without needing extra feedback mechanisms or control resources. The study method is resilient against miscalibrations, making it suitable for various protocol applications and opens up future research opportunities in optimizing quantum sensing technologies. A recent study led by researchers from the University of Southern California pushed in ARXIV details out a method to improve the sensitivity of qubit-based quantum sensors and surpass the limitations of traditional Ramsey interferometry. The team, including experts from the Center of Quantum Information, Science and Technology, the Department of Physics and Astronomy, and the Ming Hai Sai Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, demonstrated how deterministic qubit control can stabilize qubit coherence and greatly improve signal-to-noise ratio. That's scary. It's scary. And the reason why I'm saying that is what kind of noise, what kind of signal, what kind of wave form. Because like I said, with the time crystal that a lot of these corporations are starting to make, I am not comfortable with noise that thus human can't hear, or it can be manipulated thereof. And I'm not saying that this is it, but if they have this technology, what can they use it for? And they is a very open-ended term here. Bringing the sensitivity to quantum sensing. Quantum sensors are used in a wide range of applications, from improving the resolution of medical imaging techniques to probing fundamental questions in physics, such as detecting gravitational waves or measuring magnetic fields at the atomic scale. As noted in the study, quantum sensors work by using the quantum properties of particles, such as qubits, to measure physical quantities like magnetic fields, temperature, or pressure with exceptional precision. These sensors operate by placing qubits in superposition or entangled states, where even slight changes in the environment causes measurable shifts in the quantum state, allowing for highly sensitive detection of minute variations. For example, in magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, the frequency shifts in a qubit can reveal detailed information about the magnetic environment, enabling high-resolution images of biologic tissues. I have some meowing going on. I don't know what that meowing is. I'm still getting used to their meows. According to the study, Ramsey interferometry, I want to say that maybe that might be the word, has traditionally been the gold standard for such measurements, as it can measure the phase evolution of a qubit with high precision. In this method, a qubit is placed in a superposition state, evolves under the influence of an external field, and remeasured. The accumulated phase shift, which depends on the qubit's frequency, provides information about the surrounding environment. However, the technique is highly sensitive to environmental noise, which decoheres the qubit state and reduces the signal to noise ratio, limiting the effectiveness of quantum sensors in practical applications. Despite these limitations, the precision of Ramsey interferometry makes it the benchmark against which other quantum sensing techniques are measured. To address the rather inconvenient limit on effectiveness, the researchers used continuous hamilton control to stabilize one component of the qubit's block vector. The stabilization leads to greater phase accumulation in the orthological component, which in turn improves the sensitivity of the measurement. In practical terms, their protocol increased the SNR per measurement shot by a factor of up to 1.6 and SNR per qubit evolution time by 1.8, compared to standard Ramsey interferometry. So basically, overall, the researchers at the University of Southern California have provided a powerful new tool for quantum sensing, one that not only outperforms the traditional Ramsey interferometry, but easily adapts to a wide range of practical applications. As quantum technologies advance, innovations like this will contribute to a cycle of continuous improvement, where each new method builds on the last, steadily refining both the technology and process behind it. Interesting. So I have done a boatload of MRIs, and I can tell you right now that little headphone that they put on to put some music on does not block out a lot of that noise, and holy shit. Even the newer versions of MRI machines are still very noisy. And if they were to use that in a quantum sense to get better imagery, they would have to do something using this protocol and new method in the machinery. And I'm sure this might apply to other technologies that I'm very heavily against, medbeds. I'm not against it because I don't want people healed, against it because we are still living out a third dimensional paradigm of chaotic hell and brimstone and void. So I would still wait for this technology to advance a bit before I'd put my beautiful self in a machine. That has all this fun stuff that can change your DNA, crap like that. Next. This was dark matter was the key astrophysicists solve long-standing final parsec problem, and this is Lifeboat Foundation safeguarding humanity. So this just brings me to another site, which is scitechdaily.com. Nope. Dark matter was the key. Let's see what it says. And what's interesting to note before I get into this, the physicist I spoke to does not believe in black holes or in dark matter. Now, I am very close to the same page, but I do believe that a black hole exists, but not as we understand black holes. I understand black holes to being more of a matrixy, another dimensional space, not so much what is depicted in what science tells us it is. And maybe some of the mechanisms work very similar to how an actual matrix, another matrix system works and how to get there. But I'm not really convinced about black holes. I think we would all have been sucked in a million times over by now with what they claim is in the middle of the Milky Way. And even though we're at the end stage tail of the Sagittarius spiral, we're very far from it. It's still, if it's say, the math doesn't equate to what they say and a lot of things. So I don't know. And dark matter can just be duality, nothing, 0 point. We'll see. But that's something to note. Researchers have linked supermassive black hole mergers with dark matter interactions, potentially solving a long-standing astronomical problem and offering new insights into dark matter's nature and its role in the cosmos. Researchers have found a link between some of the largest and smallest objects in the cosmos, supermassive black holes and dark matter particles. Their new calculations revealed that pairs of supermassive black holes, SMBH, can merge into a single larger black hole because of previous overlooked behavior of dark matter particles, proposing a solution to the long-standing final parsec problem in astronomy. In 2023, astrophysicists announced the detection of a hum, a gravitational wave permeating the universe. They hypothesized that this background signal emanated from millions of merging pairs of SMBHs, each billions of times more massive than our sun. Yeah, so how haven't we been sucked in a million times? Sorry, guys, I had a wicked sneeze, and we don't need to see that. However, theoretical simulations showed that as pairs of these mammoth celestial objects spiral closer together, their approach stalls when they are roughly a parsec apart, a distance about 3 light years, thereby preventing a merger. Not only did this final parsec problem conflict with the theory that merging SMBHs were the source of the gravitational wave background, it was also at odds with the theory that SMBHs grow from the merger of less massive black holes. We show that including the previously overlooked effect of dark matter can help supermassive black holes overcome this final parsec of separation and coalesce. Since paper co-author Gonzalo Alonso Alvarez, a postdoctoral fellow in the Department of Physics at the University of Toronto and the Department of Physics of Trotter Space Institute at McGill University, our calculations explain how that can occur in contrast to what was previously thought. Supermassive black holes are thought to lie in the center of most galaxies, and when two galaxies collide, the supermassive black holes fall into orbit around each other. As they revolve around each other, the gravitational pull of nearby stars tugs at them and slows them down. As a result, the supermassive black holes spiral inward towards a merger. Previous merger models show that the supermassive black holes approach within roughly a parsec. They begin to interact with the dark matter cloud or halo in which they are embedded. They indicated that the gravity of the spiraling supermassive black hole throws dark matter particles clear of the system, and the resulting sparsity of dark matter means that energy is not drawn from the pair and their mutual orbits no longer shrink. Moving on a little bit. A prediction of our proposal is that the spectrum of gravitational waves observed by pulsar timing arrays shown be softened at lower frequencies, says Klein. The current data already hint at this behavior, and new data may be able to confirm it within the next few years. In addition to providing insight on supermassive black hole mergers and the gravitational wave background signal, the new result also provides a window into the nature of dark matter. Our work is a new way to help us understand the particle nature of dark matter, says Alonso Alvarez. We found that the evolution of black hole orbits is very sensitive to the microphysics of dark matter, and that means we can use observations of supermassive black hole mergers to better understand these particles. We found that the final parsec problem can be only solved if dark matter particles interact at a rate that can alter the distribution of dark matter on a galactic scale, says Alonso Alvarez. This was unexpected since the physical scales at which the process occurs are 3 or more orders of magnitude apart. That's exciting. Yes. So in time space, supposedly the multiverse of Andromeda and our little Milky Way system is supposed to collide eventually at some point in time space linearity in the continuum. And if it is correct that there's a massive black hole in each of those, this would work out a lot of problems if it were to be conceived this way and perceived this way. But if they are only looking at a model and things that are so far away, and the probability, possibility, potentiality of these things actually occurring, it's just a pipe dream. And what they're saying could happen in 1 or 2 relative potentialities in another multiversal paradigm, dimensional space. But I do foresee merging of dimensional spaces within what we call galactic. do occurring, but I don't think it's in the way that is scientifically being studied at this moment in time, because they haven't reached the physics or the understanding of how reality actually works in the matrix system and dimensional spaces and density spaces, which uplift different things, as I always talk about. Fun times. I have a crazy life. Oh boy. This article comes from physics.org, September 3rd, 2024. Cold atom simulator demonstrates quantum entanglement between electronic and motional states. And this is by the National Institute of Natural Sciences. Researchers from the Institute for Molecular Science have revealed quantum entanglement between electronic and motional states in their ultra-fast quantum simulator, generated by the repulsive force due to the strong interaction between Rydberg atoms. They also propose a new quantum simulation method, including repulsive force between particles. Ooh. Cold atoms trapped and assembled by optical traps have attracted attention as a platform of quantum technology such as quantum computing, quantum simulation, and quantum sensing. The correlation between quantum states of respective atoms, called quantum entanglement, plays an essential role in quantum technology. Giant electronic orbitals, called Rydberg states, are used to generate quantum entanglement in the cold atom performs. In this paper, the authors investigate the quantum state in the ultra-fast quantum simulator in detail, and they revealed that the quantum entanglement between electronic states and motional states are formed by the strong repulsive force between atoms in the Rydberg state. In addition, the quantum entanglement between electronic states of atoms. The 300,000 rubidium, however you say it, atoms were cooled down to 100 nanokelvin by laser cooling and loaded into the optical trap, forming an optical lattice, resulting in a spacing of 0.5 micron. Then the quantum superposition of the ground state with an electron in the 5s orbital and the Rydberg state with an electron in the giant 29s orbital was generated by irradiating an ultra-short pulse laser light lasting only 10 picoseconds. In previous studies, the distance between Rydberg atoms was resistant to about 5 microns, because of Rydberg atom prohibits the excitation of surrounding atoms to the Rydberg state, called Rydberg blockade. The authors evaded this effect by the ultra-fast excitation with the ultra-short pulse laser. By observing the time evolution of the quantum superposition, the authors found that the quantum entanglement between the electronic states and motional states is formed in a few nanoseconds. In addition to the entanglement among electronic states, this can be understood by the repulsive force between atoms in the Rydberg state owing to the very strong interaction, which introduces the correlation between either the atom is in the Rydberg state or not, and neither the atom is moving or not. This phenomenon appears only when Rydberg atoms are closely comparable with the spread of the atomic wave function in the optical lattice, 60 nanometers, and its observation was enabled owing to the distance of 0.5 micron realized by the unique ultra-fast excitation method of the authors. I'm just gonna proceed to the end here. This paper experimentally revealed a process through which the quantum entanglement between electronic and motional states is generated. which represents important progress to improve the fidelity of the 2-qubit gate operation and to realize socially useful quantum computers in the future. So within the last, I don't know how long I've been doing this quantum nonsense, even though it's not nonsense, it's awesome shit. We have been seeing leaps and bounds in quantum physics, quantum entanglement, all thereof. Bashar put something out about a guy asked a question. I have to go back and find where it and what like session it is. To explain how fast something goes that it doesn't even appear like it's moving because it's so quick, and because of our perception in time space, we really don't perceive much of the quantum world. And the fact that we're trying to measure things that go quicker than whatever they're describing. What's the word that they used? Beyond a nanosecond, like we're going to eventually get to states of new wording. It's going to be invented, new wording to how quick how quick things go. We perceive certain things with our two eyes, but there's so much whizzing in front of us and outside of our perception that you can't even comprehend all the things going through the air right now as you are looking at me. Like, try to comprehend that. Like, sit in your chair or whatever you're doing right now. Just think about yourself sitting in a chair. Think about all the layers between you and the screen that you're watching me on. And how many radio waves, microwaves, radiation waves, all the waves that you could possibly think about waving in front of you, and you don't even perceive it. You can't see it. Then think about all the electronic magnetism and all the things that are in your field that are absorbing all these waves of energy that you don't see, that still exists, but you just don't see. It's profound. What you move through in time space is profound. All the layering and the overlays and the overlays and the overlays of density and dimension before you get to an octave of experience, you are in the sub-octave wave of length of cosine and sine waves of joy, just waving on through. And between you and a screen, there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of waves of energy whizzing past your vision and senses constantly. And because of the rapid rate of all of this, you can't see it, but yet it still exists. This is the bigger things to ponder, because all this stuff that is being written right now is going to evolve into bigger and better, which is great. And a lot of things are going to be disproven in science, in physics, because we no longer need that information. It's already old. It's not going to gel with the new theories and the things that are going to be proven in the next maybe year. If all of these people are not spending like 28 years, 30 years, 40 years doing all these experiments, and they're happening within maybe 1 or 2 years, and these people are writing papers, and every maybe month I get a boatload of information that just keeps saying like, oh, we're closer to this, we're closer to that, where we just leaped and bound using different techniques. Where are they getting it from? They're plucking all this information from the ether. They're channeling it because now their minds are expanded to think different. Remember, most people that went to school were indoctrinated in a specific theorem, in a specific learning method. You're given the basics, but usually the basics are tied down to specific entities in history, where more people in the scientific physics realm, in the quantum world, are starting to think outside time space, and they're thinking space time, but not in the way that is depicted in their textbooks. And this is fantastic. We're seeing great things. I'm just keeping on top of it. And I have a double link. Give me a second, guys. I have one more. I didn't know which one I was going to leave off on because this one's exciting. And I'm not going to read the other one because it's the Webb telescope, and I think all of that is hoaxy. Just saying. Like, it's talking the last the article I was going to read, but I'm not. I'll talk about it though. I didn't even read it, but the title just it's talking about new galaxies being formed, and now that they're figuring it out. But if we live on a matrix like Jim Carrey and Truman Show, and we have a firmament, what are we really talking about? New galaxies are formed constantly, because as a soul evolves and ascends, goes up in density, and before we go back to the source point of the infinite one and all, we then become the galaxies. We then become the planetary structures, and that which has consciousness. And that's only dimensional density spaces, in my estimation, which this physicist seems I'm pretty on point with that. So, as much as we want to call it a multiverse, what really is our universe, and what really is the logi, and what is the structure of all things, we really don't have those answers, because everybody perceives the universe differently in an individuated form. But once we start going and collectively coming together, we will finally figure out what actual time space is before we move on to space time. And I just, in my estimation and belief, it's all dimensions and densities that are overlaid in our paradigm that we cannot perceive. Like, if you were to look at the firmament and look at Venus, it's just a star. But if we think about the nos confunding, this is why I don't know what this, but it's going to be interesting. Yeah, so there's dimensional spaces and densities that we all inhabit. We're always shifting dimensional spaces constantly, but our frequency keeps us where we are, but we're always shifting, if that makes sense. This is why I have a debate with JQ about time travel, because he thinks like time travel, we're all time traveling constantly. And when he says people could pull themselves in and out of dimensional spaces and go back to the past, if all time is concurrently and simultaneously happening, I could pull any one of my other selves, which is me, just in another paradigm density, and chuck that person here. But that doesn't make linear time space sense. So as much as he claimed like he does a certain person does this constantly, I believe that it can occur. I just don't believe in the way that people are conceiving it to be, if that makes sense. I don't believe you can have multiple versions of yourself in one paradigm. You can have different expressions of yourself and different physical vehicles that have your soul intact into it, but I don't believe you can pull different versions of yourself and bring them into a time space. I believe you could shift into those and view them, but you're going back to your home base of frequency when you're done. That's why people can prophesize and see things. That doesn't mean that's a potential. It's only a potentiality. But I just can't pull. So if I today made a decision to eat spaghetti and not pizza, I could pull that version of me back here. I don't think we could do that yet. And if time is all concurrently happening now, how are we moving back to the past or the future? It doesn't exist. This is the now present moment exists. So that's where some of this physics stuff gets really interesting and very theoretical. Anywho, and I don't even know if I just made sense. I'm channeling. This is livescience.com. Defense system common to all life came from Asgard. So I'm going to read the rest before I get into my little tap. Tia Gose, publisher, September 1st, 2024. Defense systems found in all complex life, including the human body, came from primeval microbes known as Asgards. Oh boy. Defense systems found in all complex life on Earth came from Asgard. The ancestor of plants, animals, and fungi evolved around 2 billion years ago, maybe, maybe not, likely from a group of complex microbes called Asgard acacia, and we inherit 2 defense proteins that fight off viruses from those single-celled organisms, new research suggests. This study shows that if we want to understand the origins of our immune system, we need to include Archaea, especially Asgard Archaea, in the discussion. And I know I'm butchering that word. No way I can project that. Study first author Pedro Lopez Leo. I don't know if I'm saying that right. A microbiologist at Radboud University in the Netherlands told Live Science in an email, the tree of life is broken up into 3 domains: bacteria, archaea, and archaea. However you're pronouncing those words. I am not into the biology shit. Bacteria are tiny, simple cells with no nucleus. Eukaryotes, by contrast, keep their DNA in a nucleus and have specialized organelles, such as mitochondria and ribosomes, each of which performs specific functions, and then they are the microscopic yet complex archaea, which lack nuclei and organelles, but use energy in ways similar to eukaryotes. These microbes are super interesting because they are more like plants and animals than bacteria. Senior study author Brett Baker, an associate professor at integrative biology and marine science at the University of Texas at Austin. In 2015, scientists first discovered a newfound superfamily of Archaea that bridged the gap between bacteria and eukaryotes. Named Asgard, Aricia, because they were collected from a deep sea hydrothermal vent in the Arctic known as Loki's Castle. These cells transformed under understanding of the evolution of complex life. I'll finish. Follow-up research suggests that eukaryotes evolved from Asgard acacia that lived around 2 billion years ago. To understand more about how complex life first evolved, Baker's team sifted through thousands of genomes across the tree of life, identifying tens of thousands of viral defense systems or genes that code the proteins that fight viruses. Of these, they zeroed in on genes that code for two classes of proteins, viperins and argonauts. I can't make this shit up. That showed up across every domain of life. In humans, viperins are part of the body's innate or first-line defense system. They were first described in humans and play a role in fighting off a wide array of viruses like hepatitis C to HIV. They help keep viruses from making copies of viral proteins inside infected cells. Argonauts, on the other hand, were first found in plants that look like little squid and stop viruses from making copies of themselves by chopping up their genetic material. These genes for both classes of proteins were found across the huge array of life the team studied, but the genes were much more similar between acacia and eukaryotes than between bacteria and other two domains. The findings published in July in the Journal of Nature Communications suggest that these two types of immune proteins originally came from the ancient Asgardian ancestor. That the key sites on these proteins have evolved so little over the eons speaks to the fact that they work well. Ladies and gentlemen, my light body has been to Asgard, and Asgard is outside the ice wall above the Arctic Sea. Loki's castle. Yep. And you got to think portals, tunnels. How far deep do these tunnels go? When I went into my light body to go to Asgard, and you don't need to believe me, it's fine. But there are cases in Russia and up very far up that people go missing, and then they're seeing giants and things that are scary. I was taken by neutral extraterrestrials through my light body in a vivid dream to a tunnel system, and then I portaled into Asgard. Why are they using the tree of life? Yggdrasil. Why are they using viperins and argonauts? What the fuck? I don't talk to my cousin. I really don't talk to my family. But my cousin is a doctor of microbiology. I have no idea if she knows anything about this, but I would be interested if she did. So what I was going on with the Nos Confunded map, okay. If this article is the case in truth, then wouldn't you think that it actually Asgard existed? Why would they just name it that? Who named it that? Where did Asgard come from? Why is there a deep, deep, deep trench somewhere in the Arctic named Loki's Castle? Just saying. just an observation, just a pondering. I thought that was very highly interesting. Like I said, I'm reading the articles with you guys, so I don't read them beforehand. I just pick up on interesting topics of titles and see and go with the flow with the pictures that they sometimes show. But if we stop thinking in linear continuum time and we start thinking about dimensionality, multiverse possibilities, potentialities of what is existing out there beyond our comprehension, beyond our viewpoint, beyond perception, I think the world would be a way better place because we would have better open-mindedness towards these possibilities that it does exist. And in a timeline somewhere, it does. I'm not saying it exists right here in the now, in this linear time-space continuum, but it could very well could potentially be out there. And if these scientists are saying in the Arctic, in a trench, there's some plausibility to that. And what's right above the Arctic? Asgard on the No Skafunda map. There's no coincidences. Oh, synchronistic. And have meowing. Okay, she moved. Freya was on my beanbag. So yeah. Interesting reads. I'm mind blown and very thankful that I had that conversation on Monday with an amazing person who's just a mind blown physicist that kind of validated me on a spiritual basis that I'm not speaking in the wrong way about physics or how I perceive and conceptualize it, because I sure can't prove my thinking with mathematics and tests. But when someone who's been doing mathematics and tests can say, well, no, I showed this in my work and you're on to something, that means the world to me. That I've been looking for somebody to validate my thinking in mathematical physics terms, but I'm not humored much by people I try to reach out to. But this was divine orchestration at its best, I can tell you that. And just blown away by the brilliance of this person. So thankful. Very, very thankful that I was given that allotted time to talk and just to ask some mind-boggling questions. Spirituality and metaphysics with quantum physics will eventually merge together, because I feel the spiritual metaphysical world will help solve or help spark downloads into people that are so rigid in logic and rational thinking in this has to be it, I have to prove it through math or it's no good. But what kind of math are you using? And are you looking at it from a spiritual aspect of time, space, time, the sub-octaves of octaves that are happening in between matrices within dimensional and density spaces, frequency and vibratory states of a human perception, and go outside the bounds of that, which they're, like I was explaining to him, as we move up in consciousness, as we become homo luminous, as we are going to get a little bit more dense, the dynamics of space-time is going to change. All dimensional spaces change. If you ever heard of people, and I don't like them that much, and I just see difference of opinion on many things, and I think they work for the negative polarity. But those people, oh, I have a kitty cat and it's Freya. Nope, that's Odin. I thought Freya was here. Hi, Kat. Hey, baby. Say hi, everybody. I keep my mommy warm in the morning because it's cold. It's been very cold here. Hi, co-host number 3. As you're 3 years old. He's so big too. He's huge. Where are you? Do you want to come here? Come. He's like, your desk is sloppy. Please clean it. I'm going to show you my butt. Pretty much. Don't drop my pyramid. I'd be very upset. So there's a lot that we can't perceive. And many of us in where we are now consciously are starting to see things that yet we can't describe just yet, or many of us have already experienced these things as little kids. And now more and more people are starting to see my reality is not what people said it was. Why am I seeing these things? How does this exist in time space? But now we have to start thinking space time. And you can learn more about that in the Law of One. I hope I get some time this week and not get pulled to do a million things to get back into the Law of One. Yeah, because let's just face it, I'm still being dragged to do a million things. But being with my kitties, number 1. Both of them. He's on my lap. Never had a lap cat. So this excites me. So guys, I hope you got something out of this. I just know I'm freaking excited. I'm exhausted, but I'm really excited because that made my damn week, my month, just to get validated, just to know that what I'm telling you guys is pretty accurate and that I'm not steering anybody in the wrong direction, because I hate if I ever were to do that. And again, take where your awareness is, take what resonates with you. Oh, thank you for not walking on my keyboard, but dropping my gems. Thank you, Odin. Yeah. We're not the most graceful kitty. So I do thank everybody for bearing with me. Just remember, go to where you can get your awareness to think outside the box and just go bigger and expand further. This stuff isn't easy to understand. It's taken me years, but I have a connection to physics I can't quite grasp, why I can't do math, but yet I can conceptualize it, see it in my eyesight, see it in the world, and understand it to a depth that a lot of people can't. But many of you are with me on that one. So thank you guys so much for your support and love and help. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate everybody that watches me. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't do this. I'd probably be working retail as a crazy cat lady. Saving the world one item at a time. But no, we're not there yet. So sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within. Please be the shoulder, the lighthouse, seed your truths, and know You're not batshit crazy. Think outside of your paradigm. Start seeing where the advancements are. Weigh them in a neutral space without judgment on either way, because you need to look at things objectively. When we start having biases towards things, we see the other side as one or the other, black or white. We live in duality, but we're trying to move past duality. So let's go into the middle and see for both sides. And then you can choose once you have unbiasedly picked. So I hope all of you have a fantastic rest of your week, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. And hopefully tomorrow I can get another one done. It's been a little rough, to say the least, the last few days. But I'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you so much. Bye for now.